Happy Sunday morning, Facebook family and friends, and Christian Chapel. Today is Black Solidarity in the Black churches. For my special guest, and I mean very special guest, I have two people that were on the front lines of Ferguson. And can you tell me your names, please?
Hi, my name is Shazetta Thompson-Hill.
I'm Jeremiah Hill.
Can you give us your experience? Did you see violence? Did you see... Just tell us what went on the front lines.
For me, I think we heard of more violence than we saw. We went with the expectation that what we would see and encounter was what the media had shown us. But when we got there, it was something much different than what we expected. The people were very loving. They were very calm, very organized, and very peaceful. And that's not to say that they were silent, but they were peaceful and very legal in their protests. There were times when emotions kind of ran a little high, but in terms of violence, we didn't see any. We saw disruption, which I think was their intention, was to disrupt the normal way of life there in Ferguson, to let people know that their lives matter, that they are fed up with what is going on there in our country at large. But violence, no. It was a very inspiring trip and experience, I think. We were met with love. We got there, had made hotel reservations. Some of the locals asked us where we were staying and insisted that we stay with them in the guest quarters of their church. So it was awesome.
Good. Mr. Jeremiah, I want to ask you a question. We saw a lot of police with the riot gear on. And do you think that sometimes that enticed the way the blacks acted?
Well, it was an intimidation type of thing. We saw even, I think it's in the video presentation about them gearing up outside as opposed to inside the building, so people can see that they're preparing themselves and riding by some places where they were stationed to see how they were gearing up as though it was the war zone pretty much. That aggravated a lot.
Yes. And also, we also saw this on the news, where the blacks would burn down businesses in the community. We also know that the black leaders, the black church leaders, were supposed to be out front, telling them, no, don't do that, da-da-da-da-da. Did you know of any of the clergy in the area?
So the two things, addressing the two things that you mentioned. First, in terms of the protests of burning down the community, they still have not completely proven that it was the protesters. There is some thought that those were outsiders and actually people who were enemies of the movement who were burning it down so that things could be blamed, and we saw a lot of that going on. But in terms of the black clergy, we did not see a large presence of black clergy who were there and active and actually leading in the movement. Our own pastor, Vincent Andujo, is at Jameson CME in St. Louis, and he played a pivotal role. And there were a few, but in terms of the St. Louis area black clergy, we simply did not see a lot who were out in the streets actively moving with the protesters.
Okay. And Reverend Jeremiah, I got the title right this time. I want to ask you another question, because as a black man, I have 8 grandsons that are black. I have 12 grandkids, but 8 of them are black boys from the age of 17 to 3. So can you tell me, what advice would you give a single mom raising a black boy in these times?
Well, that's hard. I won't go as far as the Nightline interview with the father suggested that the children disown black culture and black existence. I think there has to be an awareness that
commercial break.
we need an awareness that our community needs more involvement. It takes a village really to raise a child. Whether it's black, white, whatever, you can't do it alone. In these times, I think there needs to be some kind of role model, some kind of some kind of person in the village, some village elder, that their mother can refer her sons to help give guidance and direction in terms of how to transition from young adult, childhood to adulthood.
And we thank both of you at Christian Chapel for taking the time, because we don't usually have, back in the day, in my day and my grandparents' day, the church is where we would congregate. We would congregate on things of importance. Black civil rights started in the church. So I would just like to thank you and your husband for doing this interview with me. Thank you.